And the boys are back. Pregame.tv, Ken Thomson, Dave Cokin, second of two NFL videos. Sunday, a big game, as Dave talked about earlier in the first video. Dallas-Green Bay gets it started, and again, should be a great game.
That should be a lot of fun. You're tempting me because we started talking about barbecue while we were in our little break between the two segments.
You start talking about famous Dave's.
Well, I'll throw in a plug here. I'll be doing my usual annual hosting duties for the Big Game Bash. We're not allowed to say Super Bowl. Big Game Bash at Crazy Horse 3, which, for those who may not be aware, is a spectacular gentleman's club here in Las Vegas. And they'll be catered by Famous Dave's.
And for those that are not familiar with Famous Dave's, forget about it.
Well, and if you're not familiar with Crazy Horse 3, well,
it's a combination.
It's a really difficult gig. It's the sacrifices I make.
I'm telling you.
I'm going to have a tough time down there watching, looking at women, watching the Super Bowl, and eating Famous Dave's and getting paid.
There you go. And hopefully making
life is good.
The games, Dave. You're the Famous Dave as far as the handicapping goes, Dave Cokin. Talk to me about the Sunday late game. My Colts are taking on Denver.
That's right. You're not even wearing it. Now, is this a? I think this is an indicator. You're going to talk about the Colts and Broncos, and you are not wearing an Indianapolis Colts jersey.
And I got
I don't even know who Kenny's playing here. Does not bode well for him choosing the Colts. I would say that the Broncos are about minus 500 to be your pick right now.
Well, here's the thing. If you got the memo from R.J. Bell, every time you wear the pregame polo, 80 cents back on every one of your.
I did not know. I don't have a pregame polo.
Oh, you're not. You get enough kickbacks as it is, Cokin.
I'll wear one. Come on, 80 cents a shot. Come on, I'm in. Now, this is going to be an interesting game because is it going to play out like the first game between these teams at the beginning of the year? Now, you remember that game?
Yep.
I mean, where the score ended up, it doesn't really tell you what happened in the game because the Broncos pretty well killed them and then eased off a little bit. And Andrew Luck, the guy's a great passer, and he found some targets and got the Colts, I think, within 7.
Within 7 with the ball in Denver territory as the clock ran out.
Right. Now, see, that's a while ago, and I remembered most of that. Again, the memory.
It's incredible.
It's awesome. Here's the problem, though. They did fall way behind in that football game, and in a playoff atmosphere, I think it's a lot less likely the Broncos are going to relax like they did early on in the season. Just coming out of exhibition season, teams they're not really geared in to play 60 minutes yet. You're not going to see that in the playoffs. A couple weeks off of Peyton Manning, who looks like he needed it. He's not throwing the ball in Peyton Manning-esque style, if you will, at the end of the season. Luck was awesome last week for the Colts. I mean, he was fantastic. I know it's the Bengals, and in a big game, the Bengals always turn back into the Bungles, and they did again. But that was still a great performance by Andrew Luck. And if he plays at that level, I think the Broncos are going to have their hands full. So I'm anxious to find out who you like here. I think I know, but go ahead and make it official.
Well, here's the thing, too, with Mathis missing that first game before I get into it.
Right.
That was huge. They had just gotten that news that he was going to be out for the year, I think, or actually they knew he was gone for 4 games. I don't even think they knew he was done for the year as of yet because he hadn't torn the Achilles. That was kind of a blow to the defense.
Absolutely.
But the defense has really played well, but at home, and they're very fortunate that both games against the Bengals, they did not go against A.J. Green.
Yeah, although you really think it would have made a difference?
I don't know.
Maybe a touchdown.
If I take a T.Y. Hilton away from the Colts, it hurts them big time. A.J. Green is their T.Y. Hilton.
I know, but it's still Marvin Lewis and Andy Dalton.
Right.
And when the game's on the line, sorry, they're just – I don't mean to be mean-spirited. Yeah, actually I do. I like being mean-spirited sometimes. The Bengals suck when it counts. They just do. And I'm sorry. I know they made the playoffs 4 straight years. You got to make a coaching change, okay? This isn't going to work.
There you go. All right, well, I will go ahead and make it official. Denver at home, -7 against my Indianapolis Colts. And I'm used to getting the countdown, but Marco's working back there, so I didn't get the countdown. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll make it official right now. I am going to take the Denver Broncos. Not that I want to go against the Colts. My daughter's going to be, Dad, how come you're not so upset? The Colts are losing. And I've done that before. There's been a couple games where my daughter's like, Dad, you weren't upset with the Dallas game when they pounded the Colts. And I said, well, that's because Daddy had a lot of money on the Dallas Cowboys. And I'll probably do the same thing with the Denver Broncos. I really think the Colts start their season, end their season the same way with a loss in Denver. Manning and the guys, they found a running game, found out how good Anderson is, but the defense goes unnoticed to a lot of folks that constantly look at Peyton Manning. I mean, Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, these guys have stepped up. Ward got banged up a little bit during the season, but I mean, this defense to me is very, very solid. Colt receivers are going to have trouble finding seams like they did against the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think Denver's going to take care of business. All I'm asking them to do is cover 4 points per half to cover the game line. I think they take care of business in a big way and get it done by double digits. I love Andrew Luck. Yes, he'll be around for a while. T.Y. Hilton's good. Boom Herron, he sparked the run game, but he can't hold on to the football. He fumbled twice last week. Was fortunate one of them they recovered themselves and held on to it, but that's been problematic for the Colts since Ahmad Bradshaw went down, is finding a running game. Richardson didn't even get a sniff last week, didn't even get on the field. And again, a lot of folks saying that that could be one of the worst trades in NFL history, likening it maybe to the Herschel Walker deal, only not as many players involved, just some draft choices there for the Colts that'll hurt them down in the near future. But go ahead. Put your money on Denver. I actually have a 3-team teaser, and I teased the Seahawks. I know it's a little shaky there as far as against Carolina early on, as Dave went with Carolina to cover the first half. But I think Seattle, I like the Broncos, and I also like New England in that 3-team teaser. Again, Green Bay, because of the calf injury to Rodgers and because of the offensive line. For Dallas, I'll stay away from that
Tough
one.
game.
But the other 3, Dave Cokin, that's going to be my 3-team team.
Dallas Green Bay is the most fascinating game to me, though, because the Rodgers injury does come into play. His mobility could be in question, and that is a part of his game. And the Cowboys, how do you argue against 8-0 on the road? Yep. That the Cowboys have been a really good team for the books this year, because that was the most heavily bet under proposition on the win totals, and of course they blew that away. They went way over, but now the Cowboys are starting to take some money back from the books. This is going to be also a fascinating betting game, because the Cowboys are back to being America's team, and they're going to get a lot of action here, especially on the money line. So I think Dallas Green Bay is going to be the big betting game of the weekend, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, and teams that play with no pressure. Dallas is one of them. Indy, no pressure. Nobody expects them to beat. I mean, more pressure on Baltimore of any of the dogs, because they've had success in the postseason with Flacco, and they've beaten New England before. So I think more pressure on them. But Carolina, there's no pressure. No. Indianapolis, no pressure. In Dallas, they're basically on house money, because a lot of people thought, because all they've talked about is that bad call, which was a horrendous call.
It was terrible.
It was one of the worst calls I've seen in sports.
That was a very badly officiated football game. And no, you're right. Dallas is in here. Basically, it's a gravy train right now for the Cowboys. They probably should be watching this game at home. Yep. They're going to have to play better than they did against the Lions.
No doubt about it. And Green Bay's defense has played better, and we know how strong they are at Lambeau. How about Rodgers? 25 touchdowns,
oh my
0
Lord. Isn't that amazing?
At home. And Romo, only 2 interceptions on the road, 20 touchdowns.
Romo's been great. Des Bryant's a tremendous weapon. Murray's going to hold on to the football. In cold weather, that could be a concern. It's going to be fun, though. I think you're going to get some points in the game, and if I had to bet the game, as of now, I would take the Cowboys.
There you go. All right, well, I've got Denver -7 against my Colts. Hey, if I lose the game outright, I just don't want to get middle on this sucker. I'd either want Denver to blow the Colts out by more than 7, or have the Colts win the game outright as a fan. But right now, my money's going to be on Denver, so we'll see how that pans out. But Dave likes Carolina first half +7 against Seattle on Saturday. I'm coming back with Denver for the game -7 on the Sunday game. That'll do it till next week. We're going to come back. We'll probably have another football video, but we'll get into some college basketball videos. Dave and I love that college hoops, and we'll start getting into that. We'll see you next week. Ken Thomson, Dave Cokin, bidding you a great weekend. Hope all your games end up in the win column, as Scotty Spreitzer says. Talk to you next week. Ken Thomson, Dave Cokin, pregame.tv.